On this episode of the Best of Bias podcast, you got your boy. We back. It's Friday. Everybody, don't panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. I'm here. I'm here. It's time for another Best of Bias podcast starring yours truly. If you're new here, welcome. I'm your host, Lydell Dinero. If you're a family, you've been here all the time, second, third, fourth, fifth time back. How many ever times back it is, welcome back. We here. It's the Best of Bias podcast where we talk about everything, you know what I'm saying? We just bring all the bias from any topic you think about, from pop culture to sports, to movies, to comics, superheroes, science, cooking, whatever it is, bring that shit to the table and we're going to be here to talk about it with you or with other people, and maybe it's something that you want to talk about and that you want to bring to the table and add your bias to, or somebody might have the same one. So welcome, welcome, welcome. That's my spiel. That's my spiel. This is episode 189. I believe it. Actually, this is 190. This is episode 190. I'm not even gonna front. This is episode 190. We're getting closer and closer to 200. You know what I'm saying? I'll be getting my episodes mixed up, but I don't really have a producer here in office, in studio with me to correct me on my dates, but on my episode numbers. But we here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for clicking play. Fully loaded episode right now for y'all. Sports, pop culture, a little bit of cinema corner, a little bit of here, a little bit of there. We in here, be locked and loaded for a nice packed episode. I had to hop in here real quick. I know the Nuggets is playing right now, so I'm gonna be a little distracted when I'm gonna be checking in the scores and stuff. But hey, I'm here for y'all, and I'll never not let y'all have something, to chew on for the weekend. Let y'all hear a little bit about the last couple of week updates, pop culture and everything. It was kind of slow in the pop culture, so when I get towards the end, it might get a little bit of, I don't know. Maybe y'all don't care about it. Maybe y'all will. So I'll do kind of rapid fire when I get there. But I gotta start with the sports. But anyways, I'm talking all this. I have to get to the podcast. Where's the theme song at so I can get to it and stop talking about it in the opening? Let's get right to it. It's the Best of Bias podcast, episode 190. Happy Friday. Let's get right to where that theme song at. It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias. Okay, we back. It's the welcome to the Best of Bias podcast, episode 190. Gosh, I was trying to start the episode in the opening like I ain't done this before 190 times. Yeah, bruh, 190. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for being here for episode 190. Thank you for being here for episode 190. We just getting bigger and better. We're just gonna keep it going. You see it in the background. If y'all haven't checked out episode 189 yet, go pop it right now. Go check it out right now while it's on YouTube. AKA again, has been blessing us for almost since episode at least like 80. He's been out here blessing us, putting up videos, putting up clips. So always try to give him love. And also I don't shout out Dank Reynolds enough for the beat to open it up in the theme song, because the theme song is catchiness. Everybody loves the theme song. I'm glad we got that put together. I'm just trying to show the people love that have been with us since 2019. I keep stressing that. I keep trying to let everybody know it's been a long time, man. I know a lot of these podcasters out here, but they be in the game for a long time before you really get to see the fruits of your labor. You know what I mean? But I have no plans to stop it anytime soon. I'm just looking for other people to add to the team and just make it bigger and better. Again, we have some other projects in the works, me and the homies. I'm just trying to build the Best of Bias media team. We're not just a podcast. We're trying to do a whole bunch of stuff in multimedia. So we're just expanding on and doing stuff like that. More of that stuff to come. I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of the pod. But first, let's get into this stuff so we can get you out here, get you guys, out in the day. But if you're actually in the gym, let's get you through some workouts. You feel me? If you at work, let's get you through this work day. We're going to get it. We got a lot of topics to talk about, and let's get right to it. Let me stop talking about this stuff. We'll get to the informational stuff at the end. But let's start off with this college football. Let's talk about it a smidge. We already talked about the college football playoff and the playoff standings, top four, the Florida State, the whole kerfluffle or whatever you want to call it up there. But I just want to talk about Oregon. We were awarded, I guess you could say, with the Liberty, playing Liberty in the Fiesta Bowl. Fiesta Bowl, I get it. That's a highly ranked holiday bowl, but Liberty, they're ranked number 23, bruh. If I'm not mistaken, let me just yeah. And we fell back to number 8. We were 5, our highest ranking, but after that loss twice to Washington, they dropped us back down to number 8. But I feel like we should be playing Georgia. Let us play. Who else didn't get in? Florida State. Let us play Ohio State. But you drop us all the way down to playing Liberty, bro. Liberty. I mean, I guess you may be doing Bo Nix a favor by putting him up against Liberty and letting us run up the score, so anybody that's actually playing and going to the NFL can kind of showcase their skills one more time before they hit that combine and do it, whatever steps they need to do to get to the next level. But Liberty, bruh, come on. We worked so hard this season to show, well, Dan Lanning in his second season, Oregon itself as an organization. We put on this season to try to prove to everybody that we're good enough to not only compete in the Big Ten next year, not only to try to make the college football playoff this year when it's the last team with 4 teams, not only win the last Pac-12 championship possible, we at least deserve, as hard as we work, only losing 2 games, to play somebody bigger to prove our worth even more than Liberty. And I'm sorry, Liberty, if you guys are raw and you guys end up beating us, I would mean, hey, whatever, because I mean, I don't know how many players are actually going to play in the game, to be honest. We got bigger news. Bo Nix is on his way out to the NFL. Coach Dan Lanning said he was actually still going to play in the bowl game against Liberty out there in Glendale, but we'll see. But we got the big news. Dillon Gabriel from Oklahoma, out there putting up numbers. I think he had a game with 8 touchdowns he was responsible for, stuff like that. Balling out. He decided to transfer over to Oregon before they made that transition over to the SEC. I guess that boy didn't want to play over there in the SEC and felt like he wanted to go over to the Big Ten and kind of show his talents and do what he can for Oregon. Maybe the paycheck was too big to pass up. I know Phil Knight and that Nike money, that check can go long. And, for future, what I'm saying, you could be taken care of forever, especially if your family doesn't make it or you don't make it in the NFL. There's always a future job out there or some money for you at Nike for coming in and helping out Oregon, probably. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but the NIL right now is going crazy. But Dillon Gabriel, yeah, Oklahoma's old quarterback out there, was a Heisman candidate for a while, is actually going to play in Eugene. Come to find out, he's actually a really big fan of Marcus Mariota. He really looked up to him as a kid. That's why he wore number 8. He wanted to follow in his footsteps and almost came to Oregon, to be honest. So for him to be starting now, playing his senior year, following Bo Nix's footsteps, hope he don't take number 10. I mean, it's going to be weird because he's probably going to take number 8. So that's like 2 numbers with these transfer quarterbacks coming in and following up 2 Oregon legends in Mariota and Herbert. Bo Nix want to take number 10. I know Gabriel's probably going to take number 8. I know it's probably going to be like they're trying to pay homage or whatever, but that is kind of weird. Pick your own number so we can respect them all equally instead of trying to be, oh, whose number going to retire? Who's 8? Who's 10? Like, nah, bro, come on. Whoever wins that national championship is the one to be retiring. But yeah, that's great news for us. And hopefully it attracts a lot of recruits, whether it be people from the transfer portal from Oklahoma. We already saw a big ass lineman come in from it was his left tackle or right tackle, one of them. Coming from Oklahoma, wanted to play with Dillon Gabriel still in Oregon. So he's coming over to visit. And Dante Moore, who was supposed to go to Oregon last year, but decided to go to UCLA and play with Chip Kelly for his freshman year and actually have time to start as a true freshman. He got hurt. I think it was like an ankle injury, and he didn't play for the rest of the season over there after a couple of games at UCLA. He kind of left us hanging high and dry because he came to our school, recruited him well, everything was looking good. But then all of a sudden he flipped over to UCLA just at the last minute, kind of spiting Oregon. But now that it didn't work out at UCLA, he's going to come and try to be humble about it now. His ankle injury, can buy him some time to sit behind Dillon Gabriel that's transferred over from Oklahoma. And after he leaves, after this 1 year at Oregon, he can take the reins, knowing all the playbook, knowing everybody, the personnel, everything about Oregon, and just stepping into that role as a starting quarterback, being a 5-star recruit himself, instead of doing the shit that he wanted to do last year. Probably got paid by UCLA to come out there and play a little bit more than Oregon wanted to pay him. And then he tried, was feeling himself. He was doing okay. He was a 5-star recruit out there, but But sometimes you do have to sit behind some people and get that experience, and it is good for you. And maybe it's coming to that realization that we can get that quarterback in the wings. So after we get this Dillon Gabriel guy out into the NFL, we can have a quarterback we can mold into our own and keep the recruiting, get that jump started after, Dillon Gabriel goes, because we can only transfer quarterbacks in for so long. But yeah, Oregon's making some moves. I mean, we're not the team to talk about right now since we lost to or Washington and we're not in the playoff. But those four teams are the talk of the college football town. But and also it's good to hear that Oregon State actually reinstated a home and home against Oregon to still play the rivalry game, so we don't have to lose our rivalry game. We can still play Oregon State, our in-state rivals, and still have that game every year. That's going to be pretty dope. I like that, actually. I like it a lot because Oregon State and I think it's Washington State right now are in limbo and don't really have anybody with them in the Pac-12. It's the Pac-2 right now. So we're going to see what happens with them. But for us to have that game against them and keep the rivalry alive is really good to see. But Jaden Daniels, let me shout out him real quick before we get out of college football. He won the Heisman, balled out this year, especially towards the end of the year. He really put on trying to win the Heisman. 4,900 yards, 49-46 passing yards, responsible for 50 touchdowns total with 72 completion rating over the regular season. So he balled out, man, especially towards the end of the year. He had a couple of games where he threw for like hella touchdowns and rushed for hella, had like 200 yards rushing and like 400 yards passing. He had those games, like, you know what I mean? Bo Nix would have won it if he would have beat Washington. I'm not hating or nothing like that, but there was some games, I said it in the past podcast, that Jaden Daniels did stay in games where he was blowing teams out, and he stayed in to get stats up, where Bo Nix was blowing teams out at halftime and was taking the game off, the rest of the game off, so Ty Thompson can get some playing time. But I get it. Winning the Heisman is a once in a lifetime opportunity. For Caleb Williams, it was a twice in a lifetime opportunity until his team fell off. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, Jaden Daniels won that. Another LSU quarterback after Joe Burrow winning the Heisman in the last couple of years. So their seasons were actually pretty comparable. That LSU team when Joe Burrow won, it was crazy though. But yeah. What else we got? Yeah, let's just get into the NFL, but that's all the college I got for now. Again, you guys saw, let me just talk about a little about Deion. Them moving to the Pac-12 or Big 12 now. They're my favorite Big 12 team. Shoot. So every recruit they get, every person they get, I do root for him to do really well over there in the Big 12. Young Seton, I forgot his name, or whatever his name was, committed on Undisputed, number one lineman out of the 2024 class. He's getting a bunch of transfer portal receivers, a bunch of other linemen. I think a lineman came there out of Houston. So he's going to do his thing over there in the Big 12, especially if, he has some deep roots out there in those Texas backyards, and hopefully get some good coaching, because I know a lot of the coaches are leaving, going to other schools, taking other opportunities. So hopefully he gets a really good staff around him and he can do some things out there in the Big 12. I'll be rooting for him out there for sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because we've got to represent everywhere these other Pac-12 teams go. I'm gonna start representing them now. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about you guys now. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You're not in our division. If you're not Washington, UCLA, or USC, you're good. If you're an old Pac-12 team, the Buffs, Stanford, Cal, everybody, I root for all y'all now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else in all these other divisions, all these other conferences, I got you. But all those other guys in the Big Ten, we're coming for blood, bro. Let's get it. But let's go into this NFL. Let's talk about week 14 a little bit, because you know what I did. I made some predictions last week to see if I could help you out with maybe some parlays, just give y'all some advice, maybe talk a little about the team, maybe have some fantasy decisions to make based off the research that I was giving y'all. Woo! I hope last week was the week that y'all decided not to listen to me, because I did bad. I didn't do the Thursday night game because I was recording last week while the Thursday night game was on, just like this one. This game is terrible anyways. At halftime, the Raiders were beating the Chargers 42-0. Chargers, of course, not having Justin Herbert for breaking his middle finger, taking the season off. Not taking it off, but he has to sit out the rest of the season. So they have Easton Stick starting at quarterback, and I guess they're not doing very well. They're getting smacked up. For the Raiders, Nate O'Connell, Aiden O'Connell, I think his name is. Nate O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell, I think his name is. 42-0. And the touchdowns aren't even Devontae Adams. It's nuts. But anyways, last Thursday, the Patriots won 21-18 over the Steelers, bringing the Patriots up to 3-10. Steelers dropping to 7-6. Sunday, let's get into all these wrong predictions that I gave y'all. And I'm sorry. This week I'll be better, I promise. I got some good ones down here. So Starting with Sunday, Texans versus the Jets. Ooh, of course, I picked the Texans in this one. But hey, for my defense, CJ Stroud went out with a concussion in this game, and I think it was a really rainy game. Um, yeah, Texans fall to 7-6. Jets move up to 5-8. Zach Wilson looked pretty decent in this game, making some crazy throws out there in the run, in the rain, excuse me, and giving the Jets fans and some Jets the hope that they need to keep on playing and not just completely giving up on the season. Zach Wilson just needs to limit those turnovers and just get his head right, and just see if he can do. Maybe when Aaron Rodgers comes back, he can stay the backup quarterback and not get cut. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pushing for the kid, MILF Hunter. You know what I'm saying? Next game, the Rams versus the Ravens. Really good game. Rams gave them the Ravens everything they can handle at home. It took a punt return touchdown, a controversial one at that. There was a supposed block in the back on the play that the Ravens committed while their player was running it back that didn't get called. So it was really controversial. But I'm just surprised about how the Rams are playing this year. Nobody expected them to be great not be great, but be good at all because the pieces they lost and just some of the residual from last year. We didn't know if Cooper Kupp was going to be the same. Puka Nacua was this receiver that came out of nowhere. Kyren Williams came out of nowhere to us, obviously not the team, but they're doing way better than expected, and they put up a fight against the division or the AFC leading Ravens last week. Again, it was 31-37. I feel like it's really loud in the background right now. Man. Anyways, and then as far as let me see here. Yeah, so the Ravens move up to 10-3. The Rams fall to 6-7. This one I actually predicted right. If y'all took that advice, take that one. Any advice that I gave last week, take that one. And then we had the Panthers versus the Saints. I don't know what I predicted in this one. If anything, I wanted the Saints to lose because they actually had a record that was closer to ours, and that's probably what I picked. Even though everybody knows the Panthers aren't going to win no games, even though losing every game isn't in their interest because they got their first number one pick goes to the Bears. Yeah, but anyways, Panthers lost 6-28. Saints got the win, moving up to 6-7. And the Panthers fall to 1-12. There's a three-way tie, but officially due to tiebreakers, the Buccaneers, are in first place. I'll get to that when we talk about the Buccaneers game. Actually, it's 2 games away, so let me just talk about it now. So the Buccaneers beat the Falcons 29-25. This game was not pretty at all. I was actually really nervous this game. Baker Mayfield scared the shit out of me this whole game. It just seems to me that he can't really make plays. I mean, I don't want to blame Dave Canales because I feel like his play calling worked with Geno Smith. If the quarterback just kind of buys in and listens and plays their game, they can kind of do what they can do to make shit happen. So I can't blame him. And he's a first-year coordinator. He was nowhere near as bad as Byron Leftwich was last year calling plays. But to me, it's just Baker, man. Again, his balls always get batted down. Pause. He just can't find open the receiver. He locks in on receivers based on game like script. I wouldn't even say regular game script. I just think of whatever was in the media is what he's going to do. If he's trying to get Mike over the 1,000-yard record, he's going to super target Mike until then, until he gets all the yards he needs to break that record. And Chris Godwin's wife was talking mess last week because I guess somebody on the team, I guess the head coach said Godwin was dealing with injuries a lot. That's why he didn't get really that many snaps or get the ball that much because he was dealing with injuries and one of the most injured guys on the team right now. And his wife was like, that's bullshit. You guys are starting using him the way he should be used, blah, blah, blah. So we saw that Baker Mayfield in this game was hyper focused on getting Chris Godwin the ball. And it just when it didn't work, he was just like throwing the ball in double coverage, throwing the ball behind receivers, like not leading them in the right place, just messing up on crucial downs. And it was just messed up for a while. We're just lucky that their quarterback was able to make bigger mistakes. Our defense was able to make big plays in the moment and get us in position to score some touchdowns. Our kicker was amazing, making field goals when we needed to. I think he made like a 56-yard field goal, which is pretty risky nowadays in the NFL. And again, our defense was missing a bunch of players. No Vita Vea, no Devontae White, no Jamel Dean. Ryan Neal got hurt in this game, which is probably a good thing. But I just like how our backups are rallying. KJ Britt, Zion McCollum. He was getting beat a lot last year, but it's his second year now, and he's getting it together. He's already a speed guy, but maybe you can replace Jamel Dean because that's all we got him for because he's not good at all, bro. Him and Carlton Davis get whooped and burnt every game. Carlton Davis redeemed himself by getting a pick, almost got a pick six, but he got touched as he got the pick. He read a play really well, some screen, and he picked off the screen. But other than that, he'd be getting burnt all the time. But it was good to see us get that win. We had something to play for because the Falcons were leading the division. If we beat the Falcons, we would start leading the division because we beat the Saints already, and the Falcons beat us once, but we beat the Falcons. I think the Saints lost, or Saints beat the Falcons. So due to all that and tiebreakers and stuff, we're in first place right now. But all the teams in NFC South, oh well, three teams in NFC South are tied at 6-7, technically tied for the same record at the top of the NFC. But 4 games left and see who can win their most games. If our destiny's right in front of us, but our destiny got the Eagles waiting for us at the end of the tunnel. If they don't win their division and the Cowboys don't win the division, and the Eagles do, we play the Cowboys first because they're gonna be the highest seeded wild card team. And then if the Eagles don't win the division, the Cowboys do, then we play the Eagles as the highest seeded wild card team. So either way, we're gonna get smacked up. But I feel like I'd rather play and have some pride about ourselves and make the playoffs again and win our division. I think 3 years in a row, maybe 4 years in a row, rather than go outside, and just lose it with a bad record. You know what I'm saying? Even though I do feel like Todd Bowles needs to go. I'll talk about this on a different podcast. I need to get off on another tangent, but we'll see what happens. Go Bucks. We won. Bucks moving up to 6-7. Falcons moving down to 6-7. Bengals and Colts. Colts lost to the Bengals. Bengals winning 24-14 at home. Bengals moving up to 7-6 with Jake Browning, another Washington player. But I got him this week in fantasy. I had to pick him up because of the loss of Justin Herbert. But Bengals win 24-14. Colts fall to 7-6, and the Bengals move up to 7-6 themselves. The Jaguars played the Browns. The Browns won 31-27 with Joe Flacco, moving them up to 8-5. Trevor Lawrence and the Jags fall to 8-5 themselves. The Lions lost to the Bears, which is crazy. Justin Fields and the Bears having this resurgence. Their defense is playing well. They won 28-13. Bears move up to 5-8, and the Lions fall to 9-4. But the Bears is in a really good position because they can win all the games they want because the Panthers are so bad, and they still get really good draft picks from the Panthers as much as they lose. So they can win and still get their pick, and they can win and still get their pick, and they get the Panthers pick as well, which is probably both going to be in the top 10, which is kind of crazy for them. So they can win a couple games if they want. Again, the Bears are 5-8, Lions are 9-4. Seahawks play the 49ers. 49ers beat them 28-16. Seahawks look like they're going to be able to hang in the beginning of the game, but the 49ers just proved to be the Super Bowl hands-on favorites right now, winning 28-16. 49ers 10-3, Seahawks 6-7. Raiders and the Vikings, the most boring game of all time. Vikings won 3-0. First game where there's no touchdown scored in I think it was something like that. First game, it was 0-0 all the way almost to the end of the fourth quarter, or something crazy like that. But both those teams are kind of trash, except for the Raiders are really good today. But the Raiders fall to 5-8. Vikings move up to 6-7 or 7-6. Broncos play the Chargers. Again, this game is where Justin Herbert got hurt and went out early. Chargers ended up losing 7-24. Broncos are pretty much on a winning streak right now, and they're in a good position after starting off so bad this season. They're in position to make the playoffs, which is good to see. 24-7, Broncos win. 7-6, Broncos 5-8, Chargers. Bills beat the Chiefs in a weird game. And surprisingly, I haven't been telling you any of these games that I've gotten right because all these games I've gotten wrong so far. So this is the only other game that I got right this week. Bills are beating the Chiefs 20-17. I thought the Bills were going to win this week because they're on revenge. They lost to a bad team last week, or lost a close game last week. So I think they played the Eagles last week. It wasn't a bad team. I think it was just a really close game in overtime. So I know they're going to be on a revenge tour right now to try to get another game because if they lose, I think they're kind of out of playoff contention or out of contention for winning the division. So yeah, the They won 20-17. You saw Patrick Mahomes yelling at the refs because Tourney was offsides on a play that could have won them the game on the trick play. Kelsey to Tourney, but Tourney was lined up offsides. Didn't look at the referee to confirm that he was onside. Ended up being offsides, and the play got called back. Patrick Mahomes didn't like that and was trying to cuss out the referees and wasn't really cordial at the end with the handshake. It was kind of a bad look at Patrick Mahomes on Patrick Mahomes, but he was lined up offsides. It was his fault, and they kind of admitted that towards the end. But I did pick that game for the Bills to win. But all these other games, nope. Eagles got their asses whooped by the Cowboys, 33-13. Cowboys 10-3. Eagles are now 10-3. I think Cowboys won like 7 games in a row now. And that's not really talked about enough. Everybody talks shit about the Cowboys, but Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy are leading the MVP race, and I think Dak Prescott is kind of edging Purdy out a little bit. We'll see what happens, even though Dak Prescott lost to Brock Purdy in them, but. We'll see. We'll see what happens. In my opinion, I think Dak is doing a little bit more, but we'll see. But yeah, Packers won or Cowboys won, putting them in the lead of their division right now. So, but I think the Eagles have an easier schedule down the pipe. I think they got pause. They got Giants, Cardinals, Giants in Seattle. Cowboys, I think, have like the Dolphins, Washington. I think they play the Bills this week. So they have a tougher schedule than the Eagles, but again, whoever wins that division, whoever loses, they have ramifications of who plays the Buccaneers in the playoffs. So yeah, Packers and the Giants. Giants beat the Packers. They're 5-8. Packers fell to 6-7. I did not pick that game right. And the Dolphins lost to the Titans, which was probably the upset of the week. Score was 27-28. Titans won that game in Miami, shocking the Dolphins. This was a game where Tyreek Hill hurt his ankle. And as he went out, shit went awry. He came back, tried to be a decoy, actually tried to give his team a little something towards the end, but they weren't able to solidify the victory. And Titans beat him at home, which was crazy. Sorry about that, guys. This week I promise you guys I'll get you guys some better predictions. I'm gonna start right now. Week 15 predictions. Let's get it. Hopefully we get a graphic somewhere. Week 15 predictions up top. Can I get a sound? Let me see if I got something on the soundboard for y'all. My bad. Week 15 predictions. Yeah. How's that? Week 15 predictions. Yeah. Yeah. I'll stop. Let me turn that off. I don't be using the board enough for y'all, man. I bought this freaking $300 board for y'all. I should be using the effects and shit. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, week 15, let me get into this first game right now. Chargers and the Raiders. I actually predicted the Chargers to win when I was typing up this document before the game started, but I did not know the Raiders to win before the game started. But I didn't know the Raiders were gonna win like this. When last time I checked the game, it was 42-0 at halftime. I couldn't imagine it got any better. You're already playing with the backup on on the Raiders. It's like, who's the backup to Aiden O'Connell? You know what I mean? I don't know. They're probably getting blitzed right now, so that prediction is not going to matter. But as we get to I think we have a Saturday games. We got a couple Saturday games, but I don't think I'll put it in order. So don't quote me here. I think this game is Saturday though. Vikings at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's favored by 3. I'm picking Cincinnati just clearly because I have Jake Browning and I'm going to be going for them. They're favored by only 3 at home. The Vikings defense is supposed to be a little bit better over the last couple of weeks, but the quarterback situation, they're starting Nick Mullins. I don't know how that's going to go for them, but I'm just something in my gut says Cincinnati's going to keep rolling and win this game. I got Cincinnati at home. Pittsburgh is playing Indianapolis. Pittsburgh lost Kenny Pickett. Their offense is not the same, and their defense is susceptible from being on the field a lot more. I got Indianapolis in this game. They're favored by only 1.5 at home, so this game is going to be pretty close, but I still got Indianapolis. Broncos are playing Detroit at Detroit. Detroit's favored by 4.5. After losing to the Bears, I hope the Lions come out angry. I got the Lions in this one. I'm not saying by 4.5, but I got the Lions in this one. Atlanta's playing Carolina at home. I'm picking Carolina to win. Atlanta's favored by 3.5 points. But I'm hoping Carolina can just win this game because we need the Falcons to lose every game. I know this one can be a little bit iffy to you guys. Again, when it comes to these NFC South teams, don't listen to me because I'm gonna want them to lose all the time unless it's the Buccaneers. And if they're playing each other, I'm just gonna pick for the worst one with the worst record to beat the one with the best record. That's how it's gonna go. So if you guys want to take advice on a different game, just block me out when it comes to these these NFC South teams. But yeah, I got the Panthers over the Falcons at home. Bears are playing Cleveland. I got Cleveland and Joe Flacco to beat the Bears at home. They're favored by 3. I got Tampa and Green Bay to win. Green Bay is favored by 3.5, but I think if we win this game, we can see there's a lot to prove. People want to get paid on the team. Baker want to stay with the Bucks. You know, Todd Bowles want to save his job. Let's win some games. We can. This game is winnable. Let's win this one. We're playing in Lambeau. I'm picking the Bucks all day. Jets are playing in Miami. Again, Miami's going to be playing angry from losing last week to the Titans. I got them. They're favored by 8.5 at home. Hopefully Tyreek plays because that's making or breaking my fantasy playoffs. But yeah, I got Miami at home. Giants are playing New Orleans. New Orleans is at home, favored by 6. But you already know who I'm picking. I'm picking the Giants. This is another one of those. I told y'all. Houston at Tennessee. Tennessee's favored by 3. I got Houston in this game. Hopefully CJ Stroud's back from that concussion. So if he's not, I might have to think about that one. Kansas City Chiefs at New England. The Chiefs are probably going to win. They're favored by 7.5 in New England. I'm playing against Pat Mahomes in the playoffs of fantasy against New England. So hopefully Bill Belichick can put up some defensive stunts against them so he don't be throwing too many touchdowns out there. But I got the Chiefs to win that game. 49ers at Arizona. Arizona is favored. Well, no, they're not at all. I lied to y'all. San Francisco is favored by 12.5 points, and I got San Francisco to win in Arizona. Yes, they are favored by 12.5, and I'm rocking with the 49ers this week. Nobody's on a bye this week, so there's a lot of games. So Washington Commander at the Rams. The Rams are going to win this one. I got them. But they're favored by 6.5 points at home. But just seeing how they played against these other teams and how they've been playing the last couple of weeks and how Matt Stafford seems to be back and throwing crazy. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and Kyron Williams are shutting shit down. Higbee's on his way back. I think I heard actually. So, but yeah, I got, yeah. And number 15, Robinson, wherever that receiver is, he's been getting off too. But yeah, I got the Rams in that game. Cowboys at Buffalo. Cowboys have been on a mission, 7-game winning streak. So I know the Cowboys are going to be favored. Actually, no, the Bills are favored in this game. But everybody's going to be expecting Dallas to win because of the streak that they're on. But I got the Buffalo Bills for the upset. This is my upset. This is my upset. The only upset I got really in this week. Except for those games in the NFC South. That's just how I gotta go. But the Ravens are playing at Jacksonville. Ravens are favored by 3 in Jacksonville. I got the Ravens as well on that one. I think the Ravens again are on a mission. I think if the Miami Dolphins don't get it together and win the AFC, I think the Baltimore Ravens are gonna do it this year. Then we have finally on Monday night, we got the Eagles versus Seattle in Seattle. Philadelphia is favored by 4. Against hopefully Gino's back and can get the ball to DK Metcalf out there. He's been doing great when he don't be trying to punch people in the face and beat people up on the field. But yeah, the Eagles are coming off of a game against, coming off against a tough stretch against the 49ers and the Cowboys. So this game should be an easier test for them offensively anyways. Defensively, they got some receivers that have to hold up against. We'll see if they can do that. But yeah, I still got the Eagles. So to recap, everybody, I got the Raiders winning against the Chargers. Well, they already played and pretty much already won. But I got Cincinnati at home against the Vikings. I got Indianapolis against the Steelers at home. I got Detroit against Broncos. I got them winning at home against the Broncos. I got the Carolina Panthers winning at home against the Falcons. I have Cleveland Browns winning at home against the Bears. I got Tampa winning in Lambeau. I got the Miami Dolphins winning at home against the Jets. I got the Giants winning at New Orleans. I got Houston winning at Tennessee. Kansas City winning at New England. San Francisco winning in Arizona. I got the Rams winning at home against the Washington Commanders. I got the Buffalo Bills winning at home against the Cowboys because it's a do or die game. That's why I think it's going to be an upset. Baltimore Ravens against the Jaguars in Jacksonville. And then I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning against the Seattle Seahawks at home. So those are my picks. That's the NFL for the week. Hope you guys bet responsibly. Take prop picks. If you guys betting on Prize Picks, do your thing. If you guys are betting any parlays and stuff, whatever site wants to sponsor me, I'll mention your name a lot more because I'll be on it. But I'm gonna stop mentioning y'all if y'all ain't trying to sponsor your boy, giving y'all free play. But yeah, do it responsibly. Use that advice as you will. Again, I'm not trying to give you guys strictly betting advice. I'm not trying to give you guys advice to go out there and win your money because it's not 100%. It's just my advice on what I feel like I would do. And again, those NFC South teams, those are all bias related. All the other ones I can feel strongly about, but NFC South teams are really bias related because the Falcons and the Chiefs or the Saints have really easy ending schedules, and I'm gonna want them to lose every game, but realistically, they probably won't. So it's on the Buccaneers to beat Packers. We got Jacksonville, then we got the Saints and the Panthers. So two hard games, and then you got to see what happens. But it's gonna be a tough trip. It's gonna be a tough little trip. But moving into the NBA in-season tournament, Lakers win. I'm not gonna be too long in the in-season tournament because then the Nuggets weren't in it, and I don't really care too much about it. But actually, the league does, and I actually think it was actually a big success for the NBA. It got people interested in the NBA early in the season when it's usually just time for football and everybody's interested in fantasy and football. In the beginning of the NBA season is not really talked about as much except for the super diehards. Like your boy, I'll be watching from game one, but let me get some water real quick. But I feel like this tournament actually helped people get into it that were casuals, got people that were just kind of not really paying attention, a little more interested. They see the floors that were crazy. People got interested, knew it was a tournament game. Players played harder. Not bad teams, but teams that aren't usually really in the spotlight really got to be in the spotlight from being in the tournament and performing well on big stages against big names on both sides. On the West teams in the semifinals, you had the Suns versus the Lakers. You had the Pelicans versus the Kings, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. And on the East side, you had the Bucks versus the Pacers. And then you had the Knicks versus... Who did the Knicks play? But anyways, in the final, it was the Pacers versus Lakers, which ended up being not really that good of a game. The Lakers end up winning it kind of easily. They got the first ever trophy. AD dropped 41 and 20 and some crazy shit like that, with like 4 blocks. LeBron won tournament MVP. They're dropping a banner for it. I don't know. It's kind of controversial from everybody else in the league. Christian Wood calling himself an NBA champion for winning the in-season tournament. That's kind of iffy. And of course, I'm a Nuggets fan. Yeah, you ain't gonna hear me come up here and slander the Lakers. Congratulations for y'all winning that in-season tournament. Hopefully that was motivation for the Lakers to get their team together and just strive towards something greater, and just kind of get it together and just give you guys a little, a taste of what it could be. I know LeBron is one, AD is one, but to some of the younger guys, a taste of what could be if y'all get it together in the playoffs and continue to be the team that they were in the in-season tournament, in the regular playoffs, and the rest of the season. You know what I mean? So I think it was a success. I think the tournament will get picked up by like a big company, Netflix, Max, or something like that, because the games I think, were already on Max. So weren't they on TNT and Max? But I think it's gonna be big money involved. I think there's gonna be more stuff like that. They already got the play-in tournament, which is also something like that. So very innovative by Adam Silver. And I think, yeah, as the years progress and as more stuff starts to happen over the years, I think we'll see more integrative stuff and a whole bunch of new stuff that Adam Silver in the future GM or the what are they called? The commissioners will implement to make the league just keep trying to take steps and steps closer to being as marketable. I mean, it's kind of just as marketable as the NFL, but people watch the NFL religiously, and the NBA has always been trying to compete for viewership against them. And some of the changes that they're making actually makes the playing field gets a little bit closer. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't really do much like that for football. Football, you added a game, but that's like to the length you can actually do. I mean, you can't really do much more than that. They got some games on Christmas and shit, but yeah, but it's interesting. But they did win it. Congratulations to them. But more so, what's going on in the NBA right now? Draymond Green situation. Draymond Green was suspended indefinitely for this last incident he had against the Phoenix Suns, and Yusuf Nurkic, he turned around and open hand slapped him in the face. Some crazy shit. It's just Draymond, man. He just can't. He doesn't learn his lesson. Sometimes you give him the benefit of the doubt, but as you can see online right now, there's viral clips going around of like highlight reels of stuff that Draymond Green has done. That's not basketball related, and that's after a while gonna get penalized, man. It's just you can't just keep letting him get away with it. Shit's going down over and over. And it doesn't look good on TV. People see it. There's cameras all around. If there's like a clean closed game, like a rec game that nobody sees and he was doing this stuff and it was all hearsay, that would be one thing. But all this stuff's on camera and it's just getting more and more egregious. Warriors fans want to downplay it. It's like just Draymond being Draymond. But as we keep on seeing it, and as it keeps on affecting the team in a negative way, because they need Draymond out there for defense, as fire for the team, just to keep going and just be motivated to win games, just stuff like that. It just they can't keep losing Draymond and expect to win games. At first, it's like, okay, the fire, we need the fire. The fire is okay. But now it's like, especially when the team is like 10 and 12 and need to get these wins to actually even participate in the play-in tournament, sitting at 13th, 12th place, it's just not cool. Now Adam Silver is going to make him complete a whole bunch of like classes and like all kind of stuff to help him temper his anger, just kind of feel like he learned his lesson, is not going to go out there and try to. The Rudy Gobert incident was nothing but like 2-3 weeks ago. So for him to go out there and just punch or open hand slap Nurkic in the face is just proof that he's not learning his lesson. It's just, and already we're dealing with bad NBA reffing right now. So it just makes it worse. It just makes it worse, makes it going to be like tighter reffing is going to be called. We have the Scott Fosters of the world. We have the Tourney brothers of the world. We have the whoever that referee that was that kicked Jokic out the other night for calling him a motherfucker for not calling, excuse my language, for not calling a foul. And he kicked him out of the game after one tech instead of two. It's like, we have to fix something. And we're not going to get any closer to fixing that if we got Draymond beating people up on the court, warranting calls to get people ejected. And we saw all this week a whole bunch of NBA players getting ejected just for little things that they weren't really doing that were minorly aggressive. Yeah, it's just causing a ruckus, man. I don't know what we're gonna do. Do we have to get AI, computer, robot referees that don't have emotions, that can't just make the game about themselves, can't control the game? Because if you're doing stuff like kicking Jokic out in the second quarter, you're ultimately controlling the outcome of that game. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, we won the game the other night, but who's to say? Yeah, who's to say we would go out there and win? Without Jokic in the second quarter. We already had Jamal out, KCP out. You know what I mean? So it's just weird. And not to go too far off the Draymond thing, it's just for him to be suspended indefinitely. I think again, it's sad for the Warriors. It's sad for him himself, because I really do feel like he himself he's a good dude. I feel like he gets a bad rap. I don't know what influences him to do that kind of stuff that he does off the court, though. That's what bewilders me. It's like, what does he feel like he's doing? Does he feel like people are not going to be able to see what's going on? Does he feel like people are always going to see it his way? Or do you think that people are not going to do it? The refs aren't going to do anything? See, maybe that's the problem itself. The referees this long have been letting him get away with a whole bunch of stuff and letting it get to this point to where we have to make these decisions now, which aren't really they're affecting the league wide when this one player has to be reffed a certain way that he hasn't been being reffed. When you're taking his actions and applying it to the whole league, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. Refs probably more so need to be vetted now. I don't know. It's kind of tough because you don't want a whole bunch of newbie refs out there kind of running the game. And then at the same time, you do need refs out there, veterans, to show the ropes to the younger people. But these older vets, that the more they have a reputation, the more that they feel like they shouldn't be. Nobody should be disrespected, but their feelings are going to be a lot more sensitive because they have a reputation to keep. People can hear what you're saying to the ref on the court that's in court side. So you out here embarrassing a ref, they're gonna feel some type of way about it. So me and the homies have really deep conversations on what should be text and what shouldn't be text, what should be ejectable, what shouldn't be ejectable. Like, I don't know. It just gets really convoluted because at the same time, you shouldn't be able to call a ref a motherfucker. But at the same time, you shouldn't be getting kicked out of the game for calling a ref a motherfucker. I feel like you should be able to get a technical. One technical is like, okay, the other team gets a free throw, right? And then after that, it's like, okay, coach, go ahead and get your player in line or something, kick him out of the game. Like I'm trying to let you know right now if it keeps going too far. And then just like, I don't know. Because then people giving, because then maybe if they do it like that, it'll end up getting back to the Draymond situation. But It's like you give him out a cookie type of thing. It's just gonna keep getting worse and worse. But I don't know. These referees, I feel like there should be, I don't know, maybe start finding the referees, have a strike system. If the shit is like you're doing is egregious, like you only get to have one ejection a month, like do something like that because these guys are ruining shit, man. Ruining stuff. Because like, how do they know? How do they know these teams are gonna be triumphant at the end? You're kicking Giannis out of the game. You're kicking Jokic out of the game. Draymond may be a different story because Steph and Clay and them can maybe hold their water. But when you're kicking superstars of the game, Jokic has been kicked out of the game twice this year. He's two-time MVP, last year's NBA MVP, NBA championship MVP. So it's like you're not even giving him the grace of a Draymond Green. Draymond Green's a four-time champion, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't won MVP. He didn't win you know, finals MVP. I feel like those people should be held to a higher regard and shouldn't get kicked out of the game off of one technical motherfucker call. It's crazy to me. Really crazy. And speaking of suspensions, I think John Moran has 3 more games at this point, maybe 2 more games after tonight. So John's gonna be coming back. It's gonna be excited to see. And I haven't realized how boring it, I wouldn't say boring, but you know, there's way more highlights and more electricity when John's back playing and dunking on people. So I'm actually excited to see him coming back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, what else we got? Draymond suspended, reffing. Oh yeah, and lastly, but not least in basketball, Bronny. I want to shout out Bronny making his trip back to the court, even though he plays for USC, should be playing for Oregon. You know what I'm saying? Still, it's hell of an accomplishment to make it back to the court after what he went through, going into cardiac arrest, having that heart issue, and for him being strong enough and getting his health back up enough, and him having the resilience and the perseverance to get back to where he needed to be to get back on the court. I commend him for that. And I'm really excited to see his journey. In his first game, he only had 4 points, but he had 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, 1 3-pointer, 1 free throw. Had a block, really reminiscent of his dad's block against Iguodala in the Warriors. But he also had 2 steals. So we already getting a glimpse of his game. He's a passer, a defensive player like his dad, was early in his career. He'll develop those scoring attributes, but I don't think he's going to be a one and done in college personally. I don't think he's going to get that many minutes this year. I don't know how high of a recruit he was going to be once he did get recruited and played much this year, even if he was fully healthy, but we'll see. I think he personally should do 2 years. I don't know if that fits with LeBron James's plans as far as playing with his son in the NBA, but I think he does need this year of experience just to get his feet wet at the college levels. In the Big Ten, because we are moving to the Big Ten. I say we, as in like Oregon, USC, UCLA, and Washington. Don't get me twisted. I ain't no USC guy, but so we'll see if he stays another year after this last year in the Pac-12, so he can refine his game and actually be up there and be able to get drafted to the Lakers if need be. Or maybe he wants to just come out after this year and just, Lakers trust that his skills would get good enough for him to play. But I don't know. But I just want to shout out him and for the fact that he got on the court. It was all over TV, all over the media. So you probably knew already. But I just want to shout out him because as a person who also recently went through some health issues, sometimes you can lose that fire. You can lose that, motivation to, do what you were doing before, or even have the strength to even get better than you were before, just because you felt like, everything's against you right now. It's not in nature's course. You can lose hope. You can think everything happens for a reason, and maybe you're not meant to do this, you're not meant to do that. But nah. Fight, always be a fighter, never give up, believe in your dream. And yeah, just keep fighting, man. And I'm happy to see him, no matter how you feel about LeBron James. It's great to see a young man, overcome something so tragic and so scary and so that puts so many people down, not as far as like dying, but I'm saying as far as like, it takes people out. Their motivation, their will just can be diminished so easily in situations like that. But for him to not only, because he's already trying to live up, not him personally, but, people, I think he's trying to live up to his dad's name. So having that pressure, having this stuff happen to him, and then as well as him trying to, go out there and just be him and find a spot on a team that's already stacked in USC, already being a great team already in high regard. So it's a lot on the young man. So for him to get back and hopefully him get back to even 75% of what he was right now, let alone 100, is just great to see. So shout out him. Shout out to the Brown family or the James family. And shout out to him for the rest of the season. Good luck. We got to talk about this Ohtani contract before we get out of sports. Um, did I skip fantasy? I did skip fantasy. But I'm going to talk about Ohtani real quick, and then I'll get back into the fantasy because I've got to talk about the playoffs. Ohtani and the cheating ass Dodgers, I'm just playing. But yeah, the Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani to a $700 million contract. But I know you guys heard about the contract and how it was deferred for the Dodgers to keep signing players. They just signed Glass now. I think his name is Tyler, last name Glass now. Pitcher. They traded for him from the Tampa Bay Rays. But back to the Ohtani thing. So the contract was $700 million over 10 years. Everybody's like, damn, that's hella money. Nobody really expected it to be that much money. And then maybe 2 days later, maybe even the next day, it's like, oh, Ohtani's only gonna get paid $2 million a year for the first 10 years. After that, starting in 2034, he'll start getting paid out the rest of that $680 million. I'm like, huh? He's like, yes, this deal was actually offered up by Ohtani to help the Dodgers be able to sign more people and to possibly win another World Series. I'm like, hold up. Hold up. Why would somebody do that? The Dodgers are cheating. Like, why can't everybody else do that? I don't know. It just seems like it's a ploy for them to push money aside and for them to get more players and just have Ohtani plus build a roster that can just win and beat everybody. But I guess when people look deeper into the contract, it was not only smart by the Dodgers to do, but it was smart by Ohtani as well. So some details that I got from it, I don't really have it all. I'm not really like an accountant, don't have all the super details, but I have kind of the main point. So for him deferring that money till 2034, he'll get $2 million. People say, well, that's not nothing compared to the 70 million that he would have been getting per year, blah, blah, blah. But supposedly Ohtani's already making $50 to $60 million in endorsements off the field. So that 2 million just adds to that. The Dodgers can sign as many people as he wants. His $680 million doesn't get taxed by California, which would put him, they said that from that $70 million that he would have gotten a year, he would only really see $34 million of it, which is nuts. So for him holding off and waiting till he's not playing, he could be living in California while he's playing and then move to a state where the state income tax is different and he can just enjoy that, tax-free money for that whole 10 years, 2034 to 2044, potentially tax-free. It's crazy. While he's still making $52 million a year. And then not only is that good for him, the Dodgers actually get to make money off of his likeness just because he has that whole Asian Japanese contingent that's going to follow him and pay to see him, and all the companies that are going to be wanting to sponsor the Dodgers due to his involvement. Then you have just the fans alone. I think their team worth is going to go up like 200% just for Ohtani going over there. Yeah, it gets crazy. It's crazy because not only is Ohtani getting hella money later in his life, probably after he retires, just to sit at home and he's going to collect like $70 million a year. Dodgers get to sign players in the meantime and win World Series and possibly in that first 10 years. And then they're going to make so much money in the meantime that by the time that they give Ohtani the $680 million, they have made that back twice, 3 times, 4 times, maybe even 13 times over. So it's a win-win for both sides. Now they're going to stack up and get a whole bunch of players in the next couple of months because they have the extra money for only signing Ohtani for a little bit per year. And they're going to get all the influx of money to be able to do this from just him being signed, period. And the jersey sales are already number one. It's nuts. It's nuts. The Dodgers, the rich get richer. LA, yeah. LA is just a place to be, I guess, for all these athletes. They don't really want to mess with these other markets, even though they probably give you a similar deal and don't have any taxes. I guess California is where he wanted to be. He was already in Anaheim, so he felt like moving down the street in Hollywood You know what I mean? Who knows? He could probably stay in Japan during the off season and just be in LA during the baseball season. He got it made, and he's not even gonna be pitching. He's gonna be DHing. So it's just a wild ass proposition. Wild ass proposition. Dodgers out here just stacking up so they can beat the Braves, bruh. Doing whatever you can to beat the Braves. Sorry, I had to get some water. Mouth was getting parched. You know what I'm saying? But back to this fantasy, man. I can't believe I missed fantasy football. Fantasy football, man. Fantasy playoffs are in full swing for the Best of Bias Fantasy League. You already know what's going on. Your boy, first place in the league, into the regular season at 10-3. You know, holding it down at first place. For the quarterfinal, we had Cam's Catering playing Shenanigans, Armpit playing K-Swag to determine who played me and Hot Boys, me and Johnny Mac 650 to see, because I was first seed, he was second seed, we both had buys. So whoever won and was the who won and it was the lowest seed I played, whoever was the highest seed played John the 2 seed. So Cam's Catering beat Shenanigans 110-109 in one of the closest games of the week, and it came down to the Monday Night Football game in a touchdown by, I think, DeAndre Hopkins to overtake Shenanigans 110-109. Armpit lost a really close, not really close, but like he was all season was up and down. Played a great game this season, but lost to K-Swag 27, 125-107. Meaning that K-Swag and Cam's Catering moved on to play me and Johnny Mac and Hot Boys. So the semifinals, we have me versus Cam's Catering for the third time. This is my third time playing Cam's Catering, so I guess we're gonna know each other pretty well. Then we have Hot Boys versus K-Swag 27. Whoever wins this week's matchup goes to the final to potentially win $900. So it's real. It's getting real this weekend. Man, I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous. Justin Herbert getting injured, me having to pick up Jake Browning to replace him. Keenan Allen getting injured, me having to put in Javonte Williams to replace him. Tyreek Hill having a hurt heel. Oh man, there's a lot of injuries that are coming down the pike. I already lost Jonathan Taylor. I'm just trying to survive, man. Just trying to get my name on that belt etched in stone. Trying to get that money. Trying to prove that, man, I'm really do this, bro. I really try. I try to make the playoffs every year. I mean, everybody does, but I seem to make it. I don't know. I don't know what they call it. I don't even know my name no more. They calling me handsome. You know what I mean? I don't even know. But yeah, it's looking kind of wild out there. He doesn't have many injuries on his side. He has Patrick Mahomes. I know he has some hitters. He has Mike Evans, which I'm gonna have to hope he doesn't do great, but I have him on another one of my fantasy teams that I'm trying to win. He has DeAndre Hopkins, I keep saying DeAndre. DeAndre Hopkins, and then they have Derrick Henry. So it's gonna be a tough battle. I'm hoping that their matchups can keep them honest and just keep their points low. And then my team has some good matchups. I got AJ Brown, I got Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, I got Rashad White. You know what I'm saying? I got some hitters. Hopefully I can make it to the finals, God willing. Come on, let's make it to this finals. Let's win this game. Give me a little Cabo money. You feel me? I need it. But yeah. So next week, I'm gonna be coming at y'all. I'm gonna be a really happy man or a really sad man. Again, I'm not really talking about the consolation side, but I really want everybody to focus up. The last couple of weeks, last 4 teams in it. Again, it's gonna get real. Again, I want to thank everybody for being involved this year. I know a lot of you guys tuned out that are not in the runnings for the championship because I know you're not winning the $900. You're not getting your $100 back, so y'all don't give a fuck. But hey, root for your boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm what am I, diamond now in the Yahoo standings, man. I'll be taking these championships home, and I'm trying to take another one home. I deserve it this year, man. I deserve it. A long, stressful year for me. I need it. You know what I'm saying? It's just to end this year well and swell. But yeah, again, that's it for fantasy football. You know, I just had to talk about it. I had to talk my shit. Let's see who wins. May the best man win. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Next week we'll be a little bit more hyped about it. But that's it for sports this week. Just moving to pop culture, man. Happy holidays. I just want to say that to everybody. Hopefully everybody has someone to spend their holidays with, whether it's family, a loved one, a relationship, a significant other, a pet. You know what I'm saying? No, but I hope nobody spends the holidays alone. Hope everybody isn't stressing out, trying to find gifts for everybody. I hope everybody just realizes that time together, especially we all made it out of COVID, God willing. So just cherish the time you have with your families. Everybody didn't have that, excuse me, same grace. So, this year could be hard for a lot of people. Reach out to your friends, just wish them a happy holidays as well. Just want to extend my happy holidays to y'all as well. If I'm gonna try to still get a pod out that week, I know, yeah, because Christmas is on Monday, so I'll clearly have a podcast next week. I think it's 15th. So yeah. I'll have a Christmas episode next week. Try to have some guests on, kind of just try to talk about Christmas and how they're spending Christmas and just some guests, just kind of close out the year. I want to have like a pre-New Year, kind of like a New Year's Christmas episode, just to kind of like thank everybody, kind of let everybody know what's coming up for next year. Um, just give you guys a little gift, you know what I'm saying? A gift from me to you. Thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Get you guys some Best of Bias merch to give to somebody. Got a sale going on right now. Everything $20. Hats. I got bucket hats. I'll tell you guys again at the end of the episode. But that bucket hat, dad hats, beanies still left. Trucker hats, of course, still left. Couple t-shirts still left. Get your family, loved one a gift, $20. If you're a family member of mine or somebody of mine that I'm getting a gift for, you're probably gonna get something from Best of Buy, some of this gear already. But yeah, those reverse Grinches though, those are coming out tomorrow. Good luck, everybody. All these Kobe's have been super exclusive lately. I don't really talk too much fashion or footwear, shoes around you guys that much. But me and Damo have been trying to get a segment on here to talk shoes and shit, collectibles and shit as well, to get those segments, kind of diversify our content. But you see with the shit, I got the Sabrinas back there. I got the Inosuke Crocs. I got some Yeezys over there. I do a little something in the shoe game, but I'm trying tomorrow for the reverse Grinches. Again, good luck, everybody. I know these shoes are really exclusive, really elusive. Sneaker app don't want to give it to nobody. These stores don't want to, accept raffles from anybody, let everybody in. They should make enough pairs for everybody because, I mean, more pairs means more money for the company, which makes more sense. But I feel like they're just kind of feeding into the real retailer market by putting out less shoes and making them more exclusive so they can just hold on to them, sell them for more prices. And for people on the streets to get them, they have to pay double the price. And retail is already $190, you feel me? Make our Christmas great. You know what I'm saying? Nike, sneakers app, let everybody win. Let me win tomorrow. We already giving you $190. I know Kobe's didn't used to be $190. I'll tell you that right now. So for the fact that we want to pay that $190, are still willing to pay $190 for a shoe. Rest in peace, Kobe. Because me personally, have I owned any Kobe's? I don't believe so. I feel like I have, but I don't think I have. The Sabrinas are really close to Kobe's, and she was a Kobe protege, you know what I'm saying? But um yeah, I'm really excited to try to get those. Hopefully whoever is out there trying to get them, I hope you get them as well. What else we got? What else we got? Let's move on to some of this pop culture though, so we can get y'all up out of here on this Friday night. I got a couple of things. Again, this is gonna be rapid fire because I don't know if you guys care that much about it, but Kanye West listening party in Miami. Man, it was lit. It was lit. It has a bunch of stars. You know how he did for Donda. He did that shit at Atlanta. The football stadium, was walking around the shits. Hold on, actually, I should do a camera for this because if I don't, it's gonna be weird. I should do cameras. So let's talk about it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Kanye West album. I don't know what the album is called. Is it called like YSL or something like that? Or because it's a Ty Dolla $ign and Kanye West joint album coming out tomorrow or today. Whenever you listen to the podcast, check it out. The listening party or the little track listening, it was crazy. When they threw up the tracks and they was up on stage, you had Northwest up there, Lil Durk up there. Who else was up there? Offset. You had throw some more names at me. You know who was up there. Of course, Ty Dolla $ign, Kanye, Freddie Gibbs. There's a bunch of people. Chris Brown. I can't forget the names. I'll probably throw them up on a video here for you, but it's gonna be an interesting album, man. Production wise, it's gonna be great. Kanye always comes through with the production. The artist wise, hopefully this album has some cussing on it. It's not gonna be the Donda album where there's no bad words. So this might be a little different for me. It's gonna be produced great. The features and you saw the people that are gonna be on the album. Me personally, Kanye West has always been a little controversial. He is saying the shit about the people. You know what I'm saying? He's the people. I don't know why I said the people, but he is out there causing and starting a little trouble out there in the media, talking about Jewish people in negative ways, saying this and saying stuff like that, kind of promoting anti-Semitism out there and kind of standing on it, not really kind of backing down from it. And yes, I do agree that it's very troublesome, very, very troublesome. Again, this is one of those instances where I'm trying to separate artist from music. Kanye always puts out great albums, though his antics may be over the top and too much. I just feel like an album of this caliber with Ty Dolla $igns, with Freddie Gibbs, Offset, Lil Durk, Chris Brown, who knows, so many others. That Backstreet Boys sample, it just sounded crazy. It sounded crazy. The Vulture song that we already got early that got taken down due to some of the I'll say off the field antics, off the out of the music antics that he is going through and doing. You saw Northwest up there. That's my bestie. Call me Mr. West or Mrs. Westy. Yeah, Adonis got 24 hours to respond, she said. But yeah, man, I'm excited. It's gonna be the album of the weekend, for sure, because I haven't heard of nothing else dropping. But when that comes out, I'm excited to see how the effect has on the community. We've been looking for some good music. A lot of albums came out this year, but haven't really stuck. We got Donda last year, I believe, maybe 2 years ago. So and that kind of hit or miss. He put out a deluxe as well. There was no curse words, like I said. So it was kind of a little interesting to me because you had rappers going up there trying to go their hardest without saying curse words, which is probably a little harder for a lot of these rappers. But this is gonna be different. It's gonna be different. We haven't heard from Ty Dolla $igns. We haven't heard from Kanye in a while. We saw videos of them in the lab coming up with stuff. We saw him getting his toes done and getting mad at the lady for doing his toes too hard while they were sampling tracks and stuff like that. So let's see what this album has. Let's see what the product of toe clippings and the cancellation of toe clippings is. You know what I'm saying? That boy got musical toe clippings. But I'm excited to see it. You already know how I feel about Ty Dolla $ign, one of my favorite artists. So I hope it's one of the greatest albums out this year. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, mine is the Gunna album right now, but it could be changed. It could be changed really easy. It could be changed really easy. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how it comes out. But this Friday, got that Kanye West album. Sorry about the dual cameras. I was doing. You know how it goes, bro. You know how it goes. But I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. His marketing is always the best for the album. Again, though, I don't agree with any of those antics that he's been going through recently off the music tip. But production wise, I don't think you get anything like it, man. The sound, the instrumentation, you throw Ty Dolla $igns on there for the vocals and the musicality of it too, and a full joint album with those two. I think you're in for something special. And we think we're in for something special. And I know the future's gonna be crazy. And I know he ain't gonna let nobody come in the studio and do no whack shit for his album. So I'm excited. Also, since we're on the album tip, Pink Friday 2 dropped. The highly anticipated Nicki Minaj album just dropped as well. 22 songs. Yeah, she's killing it as well. She is killing it as well. Whole bunch of features. Future, Lil Wayne, Drake. Yeah, got some slappers on there. A whole bunch of stuff hitting the sound waves right now. You saw her little segment with Kai Cenat out there getting it. Nicki Minaj out there. I really like it. I like her touching down and actually touching the people, because for the longest we always thought Nicki Minaj was this diva, kind of up there, untouchable, kind of sitting above everybody, and didn't really get down here and mingle amongst the people, amongst the streamers, amongst the podcasters, amongst the the regular folks. But seeing her out here now, seeing her doing her thing, and actually knowing that this marketing and the streamers out here are actually the people that are popping, and that could give them the most exposure and bring the most attention to what they're doing right now. She already has her fans, but mixed that with the streamers fans. Yeah, check that out. So go check out our albums out right now. Pink Friday 2. What else I got? Let me see. I think I drop a paper. 1, 2. No, I got a couple more topics here. What I got. Um, Offset and Cardi B. I don't really want to talk about this. Like I said, I didn't personally want to talk about this because it was kind of messier than the stuff that I like to talk about. Especially, well, Offset was supposedly he's cheated before, and has done some stuff in the past. So I guess Cardi B deserves to have the news on her in a positive light in that aspect. She says she's single. She got on Instagram or whatever social media it was to say that she's been single for a while. She didn't really know how to tell the public. Her and Offset have been broken up. But they're just keeping public perception up. And I mean, I don't really even know. So some of these videos that be coming out online, you don't know how old they are as far as like seeing them together in clubs and shit like that, having a good time. Maybe they're just putting on acting just for like for the public, so nobody actually speculated anything, keep their money going. Who knows? Either way, it's not really our business anyways. But maybe she got to a point to where it's like, okay, the speculation and stuff that people are saying is too much. Let me just get out here and get ahead of it. Instead of people thinking that he cheated on me once again, we're actually broken up. You know what I'm saying? People are saying that he slept with Krishan Rock. You saw a Blueface putting a whole bunch of stuff on social media, trying to get her to admit that she slept with Offset, saying that they're at the same party, and she didn't try to. Yeah, it was a lot going on, but me personally, I thought they're a good couple. He did do some dirt, not some dirt. He did do a lot of dirt, and for her to stick with him this long, and people are saying that she did do some dirt too. Me personally, if they didn't want to be together, they just want to break up, that's their business. Especially with now, whenever they make a move and they're actually single and they make moves in the streets, it can't be done in silence because everybody thinks they're gonna be somebody gonna be cheating on somebody. Yeah, maybe the announcement did need to get made. Yeah, again, it's sad to see, but man, sometimes, the industry could be too much for a couple. Um, yeah. But I'm just glad that they're able to, well, we don't know yet, but hopefully it'll still be able to be cordial for the kids. I know they both have kids together, a couple of kids. I know Offset has a bunch of kids too. So hopefully it can still be good for the family. They can still be a family and stuff can still go down. We don't see a whole bunch of like spicy shit start coming into the media after the breakup. Hopefully everything's all good because yeah, I feel like they've been going through a lot as far as their relationship being in the media and shit. So yeah, maybe a split is what's needed for her and for him. Maybe him cheating was something, I don't know, for him feeling like marriage wasn't for him. Maybe, you know, now she's able to do her thing. Maybe she was boxed in so long from holding the facade of them being married and him doing his thing and her not being able to her doing her thing just because of the stigma that women get for cheating over the stigma men get for cheating is, it's deep. It's deep. That's why I didn't really want to talk about it because I didn't want to be out there like, haha, they broke up, haha, their relationship didn't, haha, Offset cheated on you, haha, you don't have Cardi no more because that's not the vibe I was kind of fucking with. But as more details come out and as the separation becomes more clear, maybe I'll dive a little bit more into it. But I didn't want to be messy personally. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I talked about Lori Harvey and Dams and Idris, but it's a little different, man. It's a little deeper. People be trying to comfort him all the time, and now that it's now over potentially, I don't want to be the person that kind of like dig the knife, you feel me? I'll let that breathe a little bit. Um, Cinema Corner, not really much. Mandalorian, we heard that Mandalorian might be getting canceled due to Pedro Pascal not being involved as much as Mando and him just kind of like maybe being too busy to actually be Mando anymore. Although he had the helmet on all the time anyways, it's probably just his voice and stuff. We saw that Bo-Katan more so took a lead in the third season. We didn't really see much of Grogu or Mando really doing much. It was just kind of like Bo-Katan and do side quests and Bo-Katan this, and then they kind of got to stuff to move the story along, but it was only like a couple of episodes worth of that stuff. So we all heard speculation. We know that Pedro Pascal is playing Reed Richards in Fantastic Four, so it's going to take a little time to to film, and he's also playing Joel in Last of Us, and that season 2 is going to come out as well. And I'm sure he's playing a whole bunch of other roles. So there's speculation that he wouldn't have time to actually do the next season of Mandalorian, so it was kind of being passed over to Bo-Katan. But supposedly, it's a rumor that they're doing a movie now. It's going to be a movie, the next Mandalorian, kind of focusing on the stuff that's happening after Bo-Katan got the Darksaber and just became the leader of the Mandalorians. And they're not going to cut out Dan Djarin. They're going to keep Grogu and just kind of move that story along, because I think they really do need it for Ahsoka and where Ahsoka is now. We need these paths to merge just so that they can meet up and just be badass. We need Grogu to grow up and actually do something, bro. You know, we need him to be the level of Yoda at some point. We can't keep him a baby forever. I know he's cute and all, but shit, we need him to grow up. And also, man, this is like one of the more popular things that Star Wars has. I know Andor is pretty good, but other than that, there's not really much. I mean, Ahsoka has some legs. I really like Ahsoka, but I don't know if it was really accepted the best. They do have future plans on doing some other Star Wars stuff. Dave Filoni has with Rey, supposed to be like a Jedi in the future, kind of training up and coming Jedis and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't really know much more that's going on. But hearing that Mando may be a movie and seeing Pedro Pascal still being involved, is really dope. Maybe they can bring in Boba Fett as well and just kind of bring them all and maybe kill them off in that, so they don't just have like Boba Fett's story just being kind of open and him just being around still, so old and chubby. But it was interesting. And lastly, but not least, we've been seeing a lot of set photos from Deadpool 3. I think it's the only movie that we're getting from Marvel in 2024. So really highly anticipated. A lot of cameos. We've been talking about it a lot throughout the past couple of weeks on this podcast about the cameos. We just got confirmed that X-23, the girl from Logan, is going to actually be reprising her role as Weapon or X-23 in Deadpool 3. There was some shots of Sabretooth, some set shots of Sabretooth, not from the Wolverine, but from the first X-Men, I believe. That's the Sabretooth that's going to be fighting Deadpool. They showed like images of him holding his severed head. So we know that there's a scene of him probably killing himself and some type of shit. So they've been trolling us recently of him just posting pictures of other set, fake set photos of Steve Urkel and like random ass cartoons and shit. Little stuff trying to troll us since we all been seeing these set photos. Yeah. People say, listen to the Jock and Nerd podcast. That's what you get when you're out there on, not doing a full CGI movie like a lot of these movie sets have been doing recently, and you're actually out there on the set. People can drive by and see what you're doing, and they can take pictures and post them online and kind of spoil it for everybody when you're doing open set kind of stuff. But open set stuff, if we want them to do that and get out of the CGI shit and actually get on location and do stuff that looks more realistic, we gotta kind of just respect that and not just leak shit and fuck up shit for everybody and ruin the surprise, because they want to surprise people. All the cameos that are going to be in Deadpool, we've heard about a bunch. We want them to actually be a surprise at some point. You remember the surprises of Endgame. You remember the surprises in Far From Home or No Way Home, the Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire surprises. We actually heard about those, and they were kind of still ruined. But I don't know. I remember the days when cameos used to be super like surprising, and we used to like love having that cameo because we didn't hear about it unless we saw the movie. But they spoil those months ahead now. And Ryan Reynolds is pleading with everybody, please stop doing that for Deadpool, because again, it's the only MCU movie that's coming out, and it's supposed to set up hella shit, and they want the cameos to be surprises. And everything that happens in the movie to be a surprise. And I think it's going to be one of the best projects they put out, not only in 2024, but over the past maybe couple of years. So I got high hopes for it. I'm just hoping they don't move it back. I'm just hoping they move Blade up. There's a bunch of stuff that they're throwing in between 2024, and I talked a lot about the stuff that's coming out in 2025. So 2025 is going to be stacked. 2024 is probably going to be a lot of TV shows and one movie, and that's going to be Deadpool. And then we're gonna see what happens, man. Movies is back. The writers and the directors are all back. The actors are all back, getting back to work. So I know we're gonna see an influx of movies and a whole bunch of big productions in the next coming weeks and years, and hear about a whole bunch of stuff. And the Comic Cons and all these other stuff are gonna be lit for all the news that we're gonna get, and we're gonna be there. Best of Bias is gonna be there. We're gonna be here to report everything, and that's what we do. We love y'all, and podcasting and reporting the news and bringing the bias to y'all is what we do every Friday, every Saturday. Which brings us to the end of this wonderful podcast, y'all. Thank y'all for kicking it with me this Friday, but this is the end of the podcast where I like to let them know where to find me at. SAC_Lydell on the Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. If you're looking for me anywhere else, just type in Patrick Lydell. You can find your boy, you know what I'm saying, doing something. If you're looking for me on Twitch, I think it's Lydell Dinero 22. That's me on PlayStation. If you're trying to get beaten some video games on Xbox, I'm Skitty Grub 1. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere. I'm going to start streaming a lot more. Again, this media company's going to get well-versed. We're going to get more multifaceted. We ain't going to stop at podcasts. We ain't going to stop at merch. We ain't going to stop at comics. We ain't going to stop at superhero cartoon creation. We doing it all. We game, too. We got a bunch of gamers on the squad that were ready to talk about games and stuff, and betting and cooking, bro. My cooking class is going to be quick. Stick, we're going to do a bake-along. We got hella stuff. More tournaments. Go check out them tournaments AKA put up. Me and AKA did. Again, I preach these tournaments all the time because I feel like nobody's really checked the tournaments out. I'm about to plug them and post them up on Instagram again because those tournaments go hard, and AKA did a lot of work putting that B-roll in there. So go check those out too. Again, if you're looking for the merch, hit me up. We got everything still. We're doing a holiday sale, $20 on everything. Dad hats, bucket hats, beanies, trucker hats, t-shirts. Hit me up on the Instagram. Hit me up on the hit me up if you got my number. Hit me up on the YouTube. Anywhere you can find me at, you can go ahead and talk about this merch too. And again, go like, subscribe to the YouTube, share, hit the bell so you won't miss any videos. And again, go hit up AKA Akio Young on the Instagram and tell him thank you for all these videos. Thank you for getting the videos to us. And, you know, everything and letting us, if we're visual, you know, listeners, which is kind of an oxymoron, but if you like to watch YouTube and listen to the podcast that way, AKA is to thank for that. But if you like to listen to it in audio format, I thank you for that, for the clicks and for the plays as well, because those count. Those really do count. Thank you for everything. But yeah, we're getting close to the end of the year. Of course, we're gonna try to get more guests on, more topics, more content, and just kind of diversify it, man. Spice it up a little bit. I'll get hard to thinking about what we're gonna get out for next week. Something a little different. But thank you for being here today. It's the Best of Bias podcast. It's Lydell Dinero. Hey, and it's you. Thank you, beautiful people. Where that theme song at? It's right here. We out here. Happy holidays. It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. Best of bias. Yeah.